I'm VJ Hamilton and welcome to the Autoimmune Reset, the place for you to learn how to thrive with autoimmune disease and feel empowered to take steps to transform your health to feel better than ever. You can start making changes today to improve your health. So with every episode, my mission is to share with you simple ways to up-level your diet and lifestyle with key learnings from my own journey reversing autoimmune disease and inspirational stories from those who have reset their autoimmune symptoms and are now thriving in life. I suffered from autoimmune disease for over 25 years and now I live symptom-free, and I wish the same for you as well. So thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome to this Friday 5 episode of the Autoimmune Reset podcast. I'm your host, VJ Hamilton. I'm a nutritionist, scientist, and expert in autoimmune disease. And today I want to share with you my 5 favourite tips for staying calm and regulating when travelling, because I know during this time of year it's all about rest and relaxation, but actually travelling can be quite stressful. And whether you're going on a summer holiday or even a work trip, or even if you're having a hectic weekend away, there are certain things that you can do to make the process feel a lot calmer and to go more smoothly. And when it comes to an autoimmune disease, when we can find ways to manage our stress in the moment or be proactive around our stress, it makes a huge amount of difference. And it's taken me many years, at least 12 years, to get to the point where I feel like I'm able to manage my stress on a daily basis now. And I would like to share with you those 5 tips, because travel can be fun, but for many of us, it is also dysregulating, and different foods, disrupted sleep, dehydration, airport stress, and being out of your usual rhythm can trigger inflammation. It can potentially cause flares, fatigue, and even that vague, wad but tad feeling when you are meant to be relaxing. So this is what I personally do and what I share with clients as well to stay grounded, calm and well whilst you're travelling. The first is to anchor your nervous system before you leave. And one of the best things I've learned is that nervous system regulation starts before the journey, not just on the day. I used to push right through to the wire, especially when I was working in corporates. I would stay up really late to finish my work just before going away. I'd be packing at midnight. I might skip meals. I would be overdoing the caffeine. And then I'd wonder why that I felt completely off during the whole trip. And there is something that can happen when you are extremely stressed and you have a lot of adrenaline, and then you go on holiday and you get sick because that adrenaline that was fueling you is suddenly gone. Adrenaline can be protective in the short term, but it is just masking some underlying issues, and that's when you become sick on holiday. But that's probably worth a different discussion. But what I do is I build in what I call my departure buffer, and that is 12 to 24 hours before I go. I slow everything down. I'm not going to be having back-to-back calls. I might start having earlier nights, grounding meals and nourishing meals, making sure that I'm focusing on nutrient-dense foods that are going to support my detoxification and antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. And then I'm going to create myself a travel checklist as well, just to take the stress out of things and make sure that I have everything I need, and that includes nutrition as well. So I will have some protein, some minerals, my supplements that I would like to take, and I make sure that I'm not rushing as much as you possibly can. Sometimes this isn't always the case, but even if I'm going away on a Wednesday, I will try and pack earlier in the week or at the weekend just to take that stress out of that situation, because things might come up at work and they're things that I may need to do, but then there will be things that you can do in advance. And it can be really helpful, especially things that you have to do, like packing, like making sure that you've got everything you need to go away with you. And if you are going somewhere where there is a difference in time and you're going into a different time zone, then I would suggest trying to regulate your sleep pattern for that time zone as well in advance. And I would say that should be happening almost the week before you go away, and just so that when you arrive at that place, you aren't getting as much jet lag, because you don't want that ruining your holiday. But one of the other tools that I use, and if you've listened to this podcast before, I'm sure you've heard me mention it, is my NeuroSim device. I started using that late last year, and since then I use it every day, but I also use it reactively and proactively when it comes to travel as well. So I will just pop it in for 15-20 minutes on the evening that I am traveling, and then I will use it when I arrive. You can use it at the airport as well. I'll take it on the plane with me. So it's just a good thing to have if you want to calm down your nervous system in the moment. And I'll put the link to that device in the show notes if you want to find out more about it. It is a vagal nerve stimulator if you haven't come across it again. So it helps to tone your vagal nerve, and that can help to push your body into that parasympathetic state where you are feeling more calm. The next tip I have is to hydrate smarter with electrolytes, and you can also add adaptogens to them, because plane cabins, air conditioning, and the heat that we often experience when we go on holiday can be extremely dehydrating. But it's not just about drinking water, it's also about replenishing the minerals that you might have lost through sweat, or if you're nervous about traveling. And this is especially important if you're prone to fatigue, cramps, or histamine type symptoms when flying. I will also add in there some glutathione. I'll take some vitamin C, because during the flight you are exposed to more toxins, and I am just very sensitive to that. And I would used to feel horrendous coming off a plane. It didn't matter even if it was a short trip. I would always feel really sluggish and awful. And I've just noticed recently when I've been traveling that I don't feel like that anymore. I feel pretty good coming off the plane, and I drink plenty of water. I take my electrolytes with me and add those to the water. Sometimes I'll be adding some adaptogens like holy basil or L-theanine if I am calming my nervous system, but then I'll have the vitamin C and glutathione. I always have magnesium as well. And these things help to make sure that I'm protecting my body from the stress that I might be experiencing, but also helping to reduce oxidative stress that might happen when you're on a plane. So I always travel with some electrolytes. I'll just dip them into the water that I buy. You can also buy adaptogen type powders. Always try these before, because sometimes adaptogens aren't for everyone, and work with a practitioner if you are thinking about getting any types of adaptogens like rhodiola, holy basil. Those types of adaptogens can be helpful. And then you can also put in a pinch of salt. You can buy these little small salt jars, and you can take them in your bag as well, and you can just add those, and that can help with dehydration too. So this is one of the easiest ways to support your stress response, because actually when you're dehydrated, your body is in a massively stressed state, and this can really help to calm your system whilst you're traveling. Next is to move your body, and that's even in small ways. And of course, I'm not talking something like HIIT at the hotel room. I mean more conscious movement. And when traveling, we're often sitting more and walking less than we think, especially on planes and long car journeys. And this can stagnate the lymph flow. It can slow your detox pathways, and it can just make you feel really sluggish and heavy. So when I'm at the airport, I will make sure that rather than just going straight to sit down, I'll be walking around. I try not to have too much that I'm carrying, and I do normally have a bag that I'm carrying, to be honest, but a comfortable bag to carry around and just walk around. I'm not even going into the shops for most of the time. I'm just browsing, and I'm just looking around and walking. And if you do that before going on a flight, that can be really helpful. But you can also do some movement first thing before you travel, or if you're traveling later in the day, you can do some movement. You can also do your legs up against the wall in a hotel room. That can just help with lymphatic flow. You could do some jumping as soon as you get up. Just gentle jumping or bouncing can be helpful. And then, as I said, walking either at the airport, or you can just walk around the block first thing in the morning and just get your circadian rhythm going. And that can help re-anchor your circadian rhythm as well. So if you've just arrived somewhere and you get up in the morning, get out into the sunlight and make sure your body is understanding this new time zone. But That is particularly helpful if you are getting exposed to sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. That can help reset your system. And from a jet lag perspective, having something like coffee in the morning can help to reinforce that it's morning to your body, especially if you are traveling quite far and the time zone is quite different. So that can be helpful as well. The next is to support your gut-brain connection. For a lot of my clients, when they travel, they'll experience constipation, bloating, and then just some strange cravings to certain foods as well. And that can set them off track. And it's not that you have to stay fully on track when you go on holiday. It is a time for you to relax. But there is a lot going on, and that has to do with the link between our gut and our nervous system, because there's this bi-directional communication. And that's why when I travel, I take a small gut kit with me, and it will have digestive bitters, or ordinarily I personally will take enzymes, but you could take digestive bitters with you. That's just going to help with peristalsis and help to keep the digestive system moving. I also take a sachet, which includes some prebiotics, some probiotics, and some collagen. It's a really just easy sachet. You can put it in water every day. I would say if you're more prone to histamine, that might not be the right thing for you, because I will link that in the show notes. But I found that helpful to just take on holiday, just to keep my gut in check. And I've had a few clients take that on holiday, and they've done really well with that. And then also taking magnesium citrate or glycinate with me, because magnesium deficiency can cause constipation. So having magnesium can keep things flowing, as well as can vitamin C, and obviously that's good for the plane. But I also start my day with a high protein breakfast, even if it's a boiled egg that I've just made very quickly, or some nuts, and that can help to stabilize your blood sugar and just keep your mood and energy at a good level throughout the day. And remember, if your gut is working appropriately and is feeling good, often you are feeling good as well. So it's best not to forget that aspect of it. And last is to focus on supplements that are going to help to calm your nervous system. And this is going to be different for everybody. I've tried many different supplements along the way when I've been traveling. I find magnesium is my go-to. I've liked L-theanine in the past. I don't use that as much anymore, but L-theanine can be good, rhodiola. There's lots of different supplements that can help to calm the nervous system. And one of the products that I have been introduced to recently is Calm by Body Bio. And it includes a variety of these nutrients that can really help to calm the nervous system. And it's a great supplement to be taking if you have a stressful event coming up, or if you are traveling, or if you are just needing a certain level of support during a particular time in your life. And that's how I use it with my clients. Obviously work with a practitioner to guide you on whether that's right for you. But I will put the link to that in the show notes if you want to find out more about Calm by Body Bio. And I just love the name. It just says everything it is. And you can just take those nutrients or supplements with you, have them say 30 minutes before you get on your flight or before you start traveling, wherever you're feeling more anxious. And that can just really help to calm you down. It can also help you sleep better and stay calmer in unfamiliar environments, and actually help you bounce back faster when you get home. And unlike a sleep aid, it doesn't make you groggy. It just helps your brain settle. So if you're someone who gets anxious flying, has trouble sleeping in new environments or beds, or you just feel on edge when you're not at home, then this is one to try. So travel doesn't have to mean a flare or days of recovery when you got home. That's how I used to always feel. When you work with your body, not against it, you can actually feel more regulated, more inspired, and more connected to yourself, even when you're away from home. So a quick recap, my 5 travel musts are to pre-regulate your nervous system with buffer time, and you can use tools like the NeuroSim to make sure you're hydrated, and that doesn't just mean water, it means electrolytes too. To move daily and make sure you're moving on the day of travel and during your holiday as well. to support your gut-brain axis with some key foods and nutrients which are going to support your digestive system whilst you're away, and using supplements to help to calm the nervous system if you need them. Not everybody will need that, but I find that extremely helpful. So as I said, I'll put the links to everything I've discussed today in the show notes. But if you have any questions about anything that I've covered today, then feel free to pop over to the podcast Instagram account, which is at the Autoimmune Reset, and I can answer all your questions over there. I love hearing from you, and I am doing a new segment on the main podcast where I'm doing solo episodes where I am answering your questions. So if you have a question that you would like me to answer on the podcast, then feel free to head over to my Instagram account and you can ask questions over there. Or you can use the link in the show notes to send me a request and I will get your question that way as well. And if you are willing to share your name, it's nice to hear your name as well, and I will mention that on the podcast. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who might be heading off on a trip soon, and let me know what your top travel regulation tip is, because I'm always curious to hear from you. So until next time, have a wonderful weekend. And take care. See you soon. Thank you very much for joining me today on the Autoimmune Reset. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode. And if you liked it, I would hugely appreciate a review on iTunes, as it helps me understand what you like about the podcast and to help share the information with more people. I'm excited to speak to you next time. And remember, you have the power to take the reins on your health. So keep the faith and celebrate the small wins. Until next time.